Welcome to Train Signal, and welcome to the SQL Server 2012 Administration Essentials course. The Essentials course is for complete beginners in SQL Server. I do assume, though, that you've worked in Windows enough to know your way around things like UNC paths, CPU, memory, disk, stuff like that. However, I don't assume any knowledge in SQL Server at all. But that doesn't mean that I explain every little tiny piece of minutia that comes along either. Because while that would be nice for some people, I think it would become tedious for most. So what are we going to cover? Well, assuming you're just starting your SQL Server journey, whether you're doing it on your own to further your career or you're being thrust into it by your company because you're the only one who's willing to take on the job, what I really tried to do here was just give you a survey of all of the things you need to get started. So I cover everything from capacity planning to how to pick the right edition of SQL Server, as well as the most common tasks that DBAs face every single day, like managing data and log files, or performance tuning queries, or trying to find out where the blocking is coming from in your database, or trying to find out which query is messing something up. So I cover all of this stuff. Now, every one of these topics is very deep. There are a lot of branches that come off of every one of these trees. So there's no way I could give you all of the information you'll ever need, or even all of the information I have on all of these topics. But what I did do is I tried to give you the top things that you'll need to know about each one of these, the things that I encounter the most in my last almost 20 years of databases. And along the way, I try to give you some really good practical advice of how things really work. So I not only give you a feature and show you how to use a feature, but I also give you some good everyday horse sense about whether or not the feature is good to use. And also, one of my absolute favorite sections is the last one on PowerShell. I'm a huge fan of PowerShell. I get very excited when I get a chance to talk about it. So by all means, after you watch that section on PowerShell, go learn all you can about it, because that is where your SQL career is just going to soar. Now, as far as watching this course, I suppose it doesn't necessarily matter if you watch it in order, but I think you might get more out of it if you watch it in order, because even though I don't specifically state it, the lessons do kind of build on each other. And there are really three different ways that I teach in this course, and this is important for you to understand. Number one, I teach you how a feature works. I give you the book learning that you need to make the feature work. Number two, I give you the practical advice from years of working in databases and tell you how things are going to work practically and things you should and shouldn't do. And third, you'll notice that sometimes when I'm demoing some of the features, I'll throw commands in there that I don't really explain. Well, I'm trying to teach you those commands by showing them to you. I just don't explain them. So just because I don't explain them doesn't mean you can't use them. So by all means, use everything that I do in here, whether I explain it or not, and you'll get a lot more out of the course. And if you're ready to learn SQL, let's get started.